So we're in the Riversdale cellar at the moment, and with Jasper. And Jasper's going to show us a really special wine. It's a sparkling wine that has been matured underwater.
We're right next to Pittwater Reserve here. It's like our waterfront, like where the river meets the ocean. Big oyster leases in that area there. So we went, why don't we store some sparkling wine in the ocean? And yeah, so coming back to the rationale for that was...
So who came up with that idea? Was that your idea?
That was my idea.
And what was the inspiration behind doing that? Because I know it's been done in other parts of the world.
Yeah, so I've got a friend in Victoria that does it off the coast, on the east coast of Australia, and I've seen one or two of his wines and then kind of read a bit into it, and I was like, oh, this looks like a pretty cool project to do, and we've got all the resources right here. So the big thing that happens when you do that with a sparkling wine, so I've got a bottle here that's currently in that tirage stage. So if you look at the bottom of that, there's a whole layer of lees and all that leesy goodness there that gives that really good, rich, like yeasty kind of brioche character to the wine. When it's in a stationary storage, there's really slow movement and mixing of the lees to the wine for that autolytic character. But when you put it in the ocean, you're going to get that movement, and the bottle's going to roll and do all those funny tricks, and then you're going to get that full 100%, almost like a batonage kind of character. So the wine's just in full suspension with its lees. So that's kind of what we've done with this.
And that's through the tidal movement, isn't it?
That's all through the tidal movement in the ocean. And yeah, living here, Pittwater gets really rapid during like windy spring. You get massive waves and stuff going through. So the wine would really get some really good sloshing around in the bottle. So you're taking oxygen out of play as well because it's underwater, so no oxygen can get into the wine. So you're not getting that oxidation factor, and you're getting this massive mix of lees, beautiful development of autolytic character. There is a bit of sunlight at play because we're not super deep. We're 1.5 meters at depth, and at low tide we're about 400 millimeters from the top of the water. So every bottle gets a super different kind of reaction with it because the bottles that's at the top of the tubes to the bottom of the tubes don't get the same movement and they don't get the same sun contact. So every bottle that we've made out of the 377 bottles that we labeled, every one that I've had out of the 12 to 15 has looked different. So it makes it that really special, like once in a lifetime, special event wine almost, because every bottle has its own character and has its own story and has its own kind of identity. They're also not perfectly clean, so you've got a few small bits of dirt and Southern Ocean growth on there that we've left on the bottle. So every bottle looks different, every bottle tastes different, and it's just like its own identity.
So what's the sort of underlying character that comes through in most of those bottles?
So they all have almost like a pristine salinity. Like I feel like the salt water has had its impact through the glass. They all have like a slight salinity to them. And then that really like super brioche character from like full lees contact. So it's pretty much like batonage or stirring a barrel continuously for 12 months in a sense. So it's just that really rich, creamy, driven like wine, and that's why we chose a Blanc de Blanc as well. So a pure Chardonnay to do it from, to really lock that acid in, no malo, and just have this fresh acid bomb with this really rich, creamy characters on the side.
So you'd call it a full-bodied sparkling wine?
Yeah, almost. I'd say in 9 months of continual stirring, you will kind of get the same development as what you'll get from 5 to 8 years in stationary storage without the oxidation characters. So you have a much cleaner, fresher, but richer wine. So it's kind of, it's weird to understand until you try the wine and go, well, this just doesn't look like it should, but it does. We're the only ones in Tasmania that's done it. There's probably, I think there's 2 or 3 other, if I can call it, businesses that do it, not commercial driven, but like do 1,000 or 2,000 bottles every so often. So we're not the only people that do it, but yeah, Tasmania,
yeah.
definitely the first.
Still very unique.
Yeah,
And we do make the best sparkling wines here. So
we sure do.
So this
It's got the perfect climate for
in
it.
theory, this should be the best underwater sparkling wine.
Well, it's the only one, so it should be the best.
Yeah. Well, that's really fascinating story, Jasper, and thank you for sharing that with us.
No dramas.
So this is the Riversdale Estate cellar door, and when we look over down this way through the vineyard, there's the pit water that Jasper was talking about, where the underwater sparkling was matured, and it's a pretty gorgeous day today.